If you enjoy watching Common Ground online, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution at lptv.org. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Rachel Johnson, and thanks for tuning in to Common Ground, your connection to local art, culture, and history unique to northern Minnesota. In this week's episode of Common Ground, carvers from all over the North Country come to Blackduck to show off and sell their wonderful works in wood at the Blackduck Woodcarvers Festival. Hop around Bemidji on a First Friday and view the works of local artists displayed at various businesses. And meet Roy Abbott, a metal sculptor from Brainerd, who introduces his stunning artwork and the process behind it.
My name is Roy Abbott. I'm from Brainerd. I'm a retired architect. I co-founded the local firm Architecture One in 1978. I also have had a lifelong interest in sculpture. I actually started college as an art major, and I even won a national sculpture contest when I was in high school. But then I switched to architecture, and architecture was my professional career. Since I've been retired, I've gotten interested in sculpture again. And the kind of sculpture has changed a little bit. I had never worked in metal until 4 years ago. I had just done primarily wood sculpture. The interesting thing to me is that people assume that because I'm an architect, that I can picture things in my mind and figure out how to build them and maybe make plans. That's not the way it works. I can't picture the things that I build in my mind and build them, at least if they're going to be interesting. Sure, I can picture things and I can build them. But the process that I found that I go through is that I kind of get fuzzy ideas about how something might work, and I have to actually try it. And if I have a real clear idea at first, it doesn't turn out that interesting. If I try something that I think might work and evolve it as it goes along, that's when you discover things and discover interesting things and make interesting sculpture. When people talk about creativity, they often say, well, you can't be afraid to fail. You have to fail. You know, I think that's a little bit wrong-headed. I never try something that I don't think will work. Sometimes it doesn't, but the idea that you should try and fail takes that idea way too far. This is a piece that's kind of in process, and it started as this piece of metal, which sat by itself, and I had the idea that there would be some sort of thing that would hang off of it, like this, for example. And I thought, well, that's okay. But then I also started working with wood, and I actually added this wood piece after I had the metal thing done. The advantage of that is it makes a more stable base. So then I could do something more adventuresome about the thing that hangs off of it, because I don't have to worry about it falling over. You know, and start to look at it, it's kind of what I would call leggy or something. I mean, the pieces are very slim, and there's a lot of space here, and I'm kind of studying the relationships between things. And so I thought, well, you know, it's an interesting idea that it's more stable, and I can do something else with it. But this isn't it. The question is how to figure out what to do next. And one of the things that I do is work with, you know, light cardboard, poster board kind of stuff, just to kind of figure out shapes by cutting them out with the scissors that might work. And so this was my next stab at that. I just kind of put something together that I said, well, maybe if this did something like that, and it came around kind of like this, you know, that eliminated this big gap that I had here. It looks like close, but this stuff isn't stiff enough to actually create the shape. It's just kind of a good guess. This is what I've done, and you can see that this is very sloppy, and I actually changed my mind about the shape of the lower part and so I just chopped that off and taped a new piece on. So it's all kind of, you know, play as you go, but that's the only thing that actually works if you're going to discover things. So, save a little time, I've actually cut a piece of aluminum, which is the same shape as the paper, and I do that by laying this on a flat sheet of aluminum. There's one against the wall there, for example, and tracing around with a Sharpie pen, and then I cut it with an ordinary handheld jigsaw. Works fine, and it's very, very flexible. Makes a fairly smooth cut. I have to do a little bit of grinding and cleanup of the edges after it's cut out. I go over it with a high-speed grinder that has what's called a flap disc, which is kind of a series of overlapping pieces of sandpaper. So now we have a flat piece of metal, which we hope we can shape into something that's going to be the top piece of this. I've worked in a shop a lot, mostly with wood. I've had a little bit of experience with metal sculpture, the hammer thrower in the window I did when I was in college. But I just, as I think I mentioned, I had a friend who has a plasma cutter, which is a big fancy way of cutting metal, and he invited me to use it. And after I'd done that, I just thought, well, it'd be a lot handier if I could just do this in my shop at home. So, well, this could be refined a little bit more, but you kind of get the idea that that's how it might work. For example, this isn't winding up in the right place, and I have to take some time and kind of refine the bends a little bit. But when I first got interested in working with metal, one of the things that interested me about metal is that you can form these delicate forms that deal with balance. For example, this looked like a mess of sloppy metal shapes, but if you put it together in a certain way, which has a certain amount of tension because it's based on balance, but it has a kind of a visual resolution because the balance has to be centered or it'll fall over. This was an early one that, the idea of multiple pieces that fit together. So, I call it cobra ginkgo because it's kind of threatening, but these are kind of like ginkgo leaves. And I actually reformed this, and then I had the thing kind of like this also in my scrap pile that I stuck over it, and it had this kind of swirly, dancey flavor, and so I actually remade this so that this would come down and hover right over the base, and I call it tango because to me it kind of has the feeling of, swirling and dancing. as I say, my inspiration is just figuring things out, and that's probably a little bit related to the architecture thing, but I'm just interested in trying new things, and that's why I'm not limited to wood or metal or even plastic. I'm perfectly open to discovering new materials if they do interesting things.
My name is Joe Corcoran, and I retired from the cities St. Paul in 1998, and I live up in Waskish, Minnesota. And today we're at the Blackduck Woodcarvers Festival that is held the last Saturday in July every year, and it's a fantastic event. And I've been coming here ever since we retired, first as a customer and the last 10 years as a vendor.
We've had 29 years of wood carving shows, and I have been in the wood carving 27 of the 29. Next year it's going to be our 30th anniversary, and it's always the last Saturday of July for the Woodcarvers Festival.
I think it's fantastic because there's so many other talented people that stop by and we visit, and you can learn a lot about carving and other things and that go with wood carving, and there's just some fantastic people that come. We got people from Iowa, we got people from Michigan, and then we got, the nice part is a lot of our own neighbors show up shopping, and it's kind of a fun day. And of course, the big attraction is food and art.
We got wolves and buffaloes and mountain lions and horses and a number of different things. Name's Al Littlegreen. I'm from Grand Rapids, Minnesota. I set up the blanks here with a piece of paper so people got something to go by. Like there's a buffalo here, and there'll be a piece of paper like that. And it kind of shows what it looks like. And people like to carve on the basswood because it's easy carving. And what you end up with is the item that's inside. I started carving tools, and I've got the screwdrivers, a hammer, nut and bolts, and wrenches, pliers. Will open up and that, and it's just one piece of wood, and there's no gluing or nothing. It's just making the right cuts, the right places to make them work. This is the pipe wrench, and that, works. So it's kind of neat. I did a crescent wrench, and that also works. I started with carving the pliers first, and the first pair of pliers I carved fell apart. They didn't come out right, and I knew I had to make my cuts different. So ever since, I found out how to do the right cuts to make them work. And then from the pliers, I made the crescent wrench, and then I went and did the pipe wrenches.
We have lots of different ideas as far as wood carvings. I do mostly birds. I like butterflies. I have a wood duck here. There are, like I say, many things that you can purchase, anywhere from $2 to $500, depending on your tastes and what you like. We do have people who demonstrate their artwork every hour on the hour. We have a drawing every year for a carving of some kind, which is $1 a chance. And we also have Monty Draper, who comes and teaches the kids how to carve. And this year they carved a pony and painted it.
I'm just amazed at how talented some people are and how beautiful their work is up here. This is an unbelievable show that people shouldn't miss. There's a new artist here. His name's Ethan, He's from Kelliher, Minnesota, and I saw his work here a couple months ago, and I told him, you gotta come to this show. He's a chainsaw artist, but he's really a cut above being a chainsaw artist. And he does beautiful work. He's got bears, he's got an angel over there, and he takes driftwood and he'll make faces out of it. There might be an eagle head, there might be an egret, and he's really a good artist here. And he's done well today. He's got a full-size grizzly bear over here he carved. So, and then there's Gary Mullenrock from Iowa. He's been coming here for years, and I also see him at the Decoy Collector Show. He does unbelievable ducks and pheasants, and he does well. I think he's about half sold out today. And so one of these days I'll probably buy one of his if I have a good show.
We have lots of different sellers here. We also have people who only show. They just like to show their wares, but 3/4 of them are all sellers. We have also art here with Maureen O'Brien and a few of the other artists from the Bemidji area.
I'll tell you, if you want to see what people can do with a hobby and how it turns into a business for you in art, and a lot of people, they don't think they can carve things, and all of a sudden when they start attending classes and getting the tools, this is something the average person can do. And like me, I'm retired and I need a hobby because otherwise you get old, and I don't want to get old. And so come and take a look at what these other people are doing, and you could do it.
It's made out of an oak log, and I turn them into these little swivel tractors like that.
I think in northern Minnesota, we've got unbelievable forest and wood products up here. And we got people that can make them into pieces of art that look very nice in your home and offices and businesses. And I think a lot of people don't realize that when they drive and see all these big pine trees and tamarack and birch trees, that there's people that make beautiful things out of them. And so when you're driving down the highway, take a look at some of those trees. And there's people here that can make them really stand out.
Well, we're here at the Rail River Folk School at 303 Railroad Street Southwest in Bemidji. My name is Jessica Saucedo. I'm one of the co-founders here at the Folk School. And we are here tonight at First Friday. And it's our Northwoods Folk Collective featuring open mic and a coffee house for all of the local arts and talents that want to come and show off their talents. First Friday always features a new artist. So we'll have new paintings, new drawings, new silk screens, something to that effect. Always local, and oftentimes would be maybe their first show. We've had several first-time artists. We've also had many experienced artists. And then as we progress after the initial opening of the night, so you could hang out, talk to the artist.
I'm Alice Blessing. We are at the Rail River Folk School, and this is the reception for my retrospective of the last 10 years of my paintings. Well, I have been watching the Rail River Folk School, and luckily they had an opening for June, so I just jumped right in. And this place is so cool and funky that my paintings kind of want to live here, but I'm just really glad to be here. This is a great space. The Rail River Folk School is gonna, I think in the next couple of years, is gonna prove itself to be a very valuable part of the Bemidji community, art community, music community, poetry. This is a space where pretty much anything could happen, which is really cool. And I think that everything will happen here. I think it's exactly what Bemidji needed. I'm trying to learn how to illustrate and write children's books, and it's really difficult. And I've been working on it for about a year, and I got a McKnight Fellowship from the Region 2 Arts Council last year to go to a couple different workshops for illustrating children's books, and it's been really helpful. So I've kind of jumped into that world, and hopefully in the next couple years I'll be published.
My name is Aaron Tank. We are at the Wild Hare Bistro in Bemidji, and I'm the Artist of the Month for June here in 2012. So it's my reception, and I got some photos up on the walls here at the Wild Hare. For me, I think doing natural photos is just something that fits with my personality, and ever since I was a kid, I would always be out in the woods. I kind of grew up in the country and around wildlife. I was fascinated by salamanders and turtles and reptiles when I was a young kid. And I think that's carried on to my adult life. I was never losing that fascination for wildlife and the natural world. Oh, I think the community here in Bemidji is very fortunate to have a venue such as the Wild Hare that is really supportive of the local art scene and constantly bringing new artists in here. So I think that the world could use more places like this, where people can just go view art that's created by their neighbors and local people here that are just kind of doing a lot of creative things.
I'm Noemi Ellsworth. I'm from the Cabin Coffee House and Cafe in downtown Bemidji on 3rd Street. Well, this is very exciting. We have our artists reception for June, and we have a variety of artists this month, which is very exciting because you get to see a lot of different styles of artists in our community. The theme is Bemidji, Bunyan, and bikes, which is very appropriate with Bemidji becoming bike friendly. The Paul Bunyan pieces that are standing out to me in this show are on our stage is the paper mache, and that is half Paul Bunyan and half Babe, which is just cooler than cool, sitting next to the bicycles. And we have recycled art used on shoes, like taking old shoes and using that into a piece of art. So that we have recycled art, that always stands out. And let's see, we have painting on glass jars. Something as simple, taking a mason jar and painting on it any theme that you would like. We have a jar with Paul Bunyan and a jar with Babe. Those are pretty cool. We have tennis shoes. You can take a plain white tennis shoe and create a Paul and a Babe matching pair of shoes. How cool is that? I just love that. And it's wearable art as well. Having art displayed in your business creates an atmosphere where people feel comfortable coming in here. They get to know other people in the community, people that they didn't even know did art.
I'm Eric Evanson. I'm a graphic designer, illustrator, and graphic novelist, and I have some work up here at the Cabin Coffee House and Cafe. One is called Barbarian Paul and Babe, and is basically my interpretation of what Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox would be if run through the filter of high fantasy, Conan the Barbarian style comic book art. My other piece, basically it's a graphic design piece. I think I just called it Best City on the Mississippi, but it was just my way of taking the Paul and Bunyan statues and making it look a little hipstery and a little bit, give it kind of an album cover vibe. It's really cool for me here because I don't actually do a lot of exhibiting. I used to kind of live in that world, but left it behind. I became a graphic designer and started working with clients, and then I just kind of stopped exhibiting my work. And so I am always looking for little moments like this where I can put something together and include it in a small show like this, something that's kind of celebratory in nature, and it doesn't have to fit within a big medium or anything like that. So an exhibition like this gives me an opportunity to be playful and do some work that I'm not usually able to do.
I'm Emily Wendland. I'm at Dunn Brothers Coffee House with my show. I'm showing different illustrations that I do. I use micron pen and watercolor. I'm a student at BSU, and I'm going to graduate next December with my art degree. So this is the first Friday of June, and you can see different art displayed around Bemidji. It's a fun feeling you kind of get a sense of community with the other artists in Bemidji, knowing that you're showing your art and this is kind of their big night showing their art. I think it's a really cool opportunity, the first Friday art walks, for community members to walk around and be able to see what artists in their area are doing and have so many options for a Friday night.
There's many people that don't think they're artistic, but because the more art that there is around, I think it opens up people's minds to try something different. We have so many artists in the Bemidji area. It's just, people love coming up here and coming to Bemidji. There's all the different restaurants and different venues that are showing the art, makes more people aware of art, and it just brings you kind of back to nature as well, and makes people feel better about themselves when they know that they can add something, whether it be a new piece of art or taking something recycled and making metal sculptures. People are enjoying it, and they're meeting more people. It's like, oh, who was that created by? And then you know another person being. It makes it more human.
I think it just features how rich of talent we are in talents and how diverse that talent is, so the community can actually have sort of a place in which to feature that talent. And you know, that always being something that's renewed with every new artist, every first timer. It gives a home for our community to say, hey, maybe I don't fit in at the country bar, maybe I don't fit in at the rock and roll club. Now, this is a little bit different. It's got that arts meets the craftsman movement. You know, we feature people that really care about what they're doing and also are very open arms to new people. So the community can see a place for growth and change here, I think.
I don't know, I'm a pretty easygoing person. I love being in Bemidji. I love being an artist here. It's like the best. I couldn't ask for anything better. Yeah.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Common Ground. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
If you have a segment idea for Common Ground pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org or call us at 218-333-3022. If you enjoyed this episode of Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground, consider making a contribution at lptv.org.